Hey, what's up, everybody? This is D. Thought I'd give you your daily midday report. It turns out that Bigfoot Odyssey, after the first of the year, will no longer be with us. We be a channel anymore within the cryptid community. It's very sad news. As I get the details, I'll give them to you. But as many of you know, Carrie Arnold was a good friend. I didn't get to speak to him much after my sabbatical, but I didn't get to speak to him at all after my sabbatical. But it's a sad ending, in my opinion. He was a good guy, did a good show, and he's sorely missed, and it will be too. A lot of people got their stories out on that channel. Hopefully, it's not taken down, but I don't believe that they'll be doing anything with it after the beginning of the year. Also, in the vaults of the BDRP was found the most controversial and highest rated show that I've ever done, where I spoke to the alleged ex-CIA operative who spoke to the gray dog man. So that'll be actually coming up here in the next 20 minutes. What's up, Sean, Miss Sue, and Scott? Stay tuned afterwards, or for tonight, we're going to have our BDRP late show back, which is always pretty fun, relatively fun. What's up, Merlin? I appreciate everyone who participated in our poll to see what, I'll talk to you guys as much as possible. I have many of you in private and in public. Your opinion matters as to the direction of this channel. So actually, I'll give you the results. This poll was conducted to see what type of content moving forward that people want to see from this channel. And honestly, they line up with exactly what I was wanting to do. So you guys are cut from my cloth. Let's see, where is it? I'm a doggone. Anyways, the actual recorded content, the narrations and the specials I put together was number one last time I looked. That was followed up closely by the live BDRP late show. On the 15th, we'll have ufologist and MUFON director Tom Ferrario. You're not going to want to miss that when he reveals it. I'll put it to you this way. He did so much for me as just being a field guy in the cryptid field that it completely changed my perspective. He's a great guy, and send some prayers up for him. His wife is she's a little ill, but through God's grace and mercy, he is the great physician. She will be healed. But he's a great guy. Go check out his personal YouTube channel. It will be linked on that show. Like I said, the gentleman's 80 years old. He moves around better than me. He's still out there in the field. He has been to Skinwalker Ranch. Anything where there's strange stuff. So technically, he's investigated cryptids as well. He has a picture of a white cryptid on his personal YouTube channel that's very, very interesting to me. It looks as big as a horse. It's got very, very strange features. And again, you get that same type of anomaly. You guys will hear. It's pretty phenomenal. So again, Mr. Thomas Ferrario, and he will be telling us what he knows from being on the inside about the upcoming FF event, the false flag, the alien invasion. Thank you, Sheila. I appreciate that. I've been trying. Well, I'm glad you finally did. This is nothing. I'm just wading in the water. I haven't even begun to start swimming in the deep yet. But I sincerely appreciate that. As you hear my voice, I am currently working on the next installment of the CERN specials I've been doing, where we will take a look at the announcement that just happened 2 weeks ago. Prediction of a 9-year-old literal super genius. This kid's like 9 or 11. He's smarter than most astrophysicists alive today. And he has a very interesting prediction, or not even a prediction, an assumption or a theory of what CERN has done and what they will do. Many of you know who have followed me for a while, and even for the new guys, like CERN is the most dangerous machine on planet Earth. They spin particles around. Just a quick, you know, I've been shadow banned on sensor tube for months. Why have you been shadow banned? Here, I'm gonna drop my email. I kind of want to hear why you were shadow banned, because I dealt with that on the old channel for a while, and there is a way around it. But anyways, the CERN Large Hadron Collider in Geneva, Switzerland. The long short of it is it's spinning particles around at, it used to be under its inception below the speed of light. Now it's going a little bit above the speed of light in this tube that is cooled down to the temperature of space, that's 22 miles long, and I believe like a long ways underground. And when these particles collide, they create dark matter. That's just what they say is a byproduct. But they're doing this under the auspices to see what the conditions were like when the Big Bang happened, assuming that it happened. This is a multi-billion dollar machine that they are using to test a theory. Because I mean, the Big Bang's a theory, and a not very good one, if you ask me. There's too much intentional design, and that's where, and see, they'll sway you. That's where they start bringing in, oh well, it's a computer program. We're all living in some sort of an illusion. It's nothing's real and all that kind of esoteric nonsense. But I won't go on that rant. I'll save that for tonight. I just find it very, very strange that this little boy's prediction coincides with the calendar that the Mayans had, as well as other stuff that, I mean, it's everything this young man saying is certifiable, if you ask me. I don't see how he went to public schools. Like, the kid went to public schools and ended up going to some major university. Now, are kids like that, are they born and then they just soak up all this knowledge? Do they just have some sort of a special brain? Or are they manufactured? Oh, dude, that's a crazy thing. What do you mean manufactured? Look up the CRISPR-9 system and see what they're doing with it in China. When you get done with that, keep your finger on that page and then go over and look at the chimera law that they have in Great Britain. It is illegal in the British Empire to kill a chimera. Now, chimera is a mix of a bear, a lion, a snake. The chimera from Greek mythology, I believe, was just that. It had the paws of a bear, body of a lion. It was a monster, straight up. They're creating chimeras. As you know, they can grow like limbs and stuff from just basic organic materials. And that takes you back to the fetuses that they extract the stem cells from. It's a bunch of madness. But I mean, it's very strange to me. An 11-year-old kid is one of the smartest people on planet Earth. That kid was grown in a tube somewhere. No, I don't know. All right. Thank you guys. I'll check with y'all, I guess, after the interview. Again, this interview is from the old school BDRP vaults. It was on the old channel, and I believe it initially got 180 something thousand views. It was the biggest show that I've ever done. Most controversial. So just keep in mind that this interview was conducted back in 2017, and I wasn't as professional as I am now. I've never been professional. I'm a conversationalist. I thought the longest time. This is Sean from Sean Graham, Chasing the Truth. Brother from another mother. I thought for the longest time it was illegal to do chimeras in the USA until they shot down the law to make it illegal in the Senate. Wow. And it makes you think, like, we pay these people. If it wasn't real, like, what do they do? What are we thinking? Like, oh, well, they're just going up there playing patty cake, making laws on our dime about a bunch of nonsense. No, if they're making laws, it's for a reason. You got to think these dumbs as well, these deep underground military bases. You don't ever hear a lot of people talking about them and what actually takes place down in those domes. I have it on good authority that most of them aren't military installations whatsoever. They're a branch of the military, but it's where they do these black budget things, your project Montauk and all that. Before you know it, you're going to have a little bald-headed girl floating around reading people's minds and throwing pianos at folks with their brain. It's a world of madness, folks. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. I think that's where we're at. The little g gods that live among men with these supernatural abilities. You got Elon Musk, who seemed like he was somewhat on our side. He's warning us about AI. Now he comes up, now he comes out with an AI girlfriend, um, the Neuralink, where he's literally putting some sort of material around your brain, plugging you in, hardlining you into the internet. And again, folks, y'all know what's up. Our brains are more powerful than any computer on planet Earth except the quantum computer. And that's a whole nother show in and of itself. We can retain ridiculous amounts of knowledge. I don't think there's a machine yet that can mimic our brain. So when you couple that with the World Wide Web, I think it was Mr. Beast, the YouTuber Mr. Beast said that he made a valid point, even though it was a scary one. He said that he wanted to be one of the first in line to get one. Um, and he said it's going to pay, even if you had to borrow $100,000, it'll pay for itself within weeks because you will have unlimited knowledge. You'll be able to store unlimited knowledge. Like you're directly downloading information into your brain. Think about that. Meditate on that. You are going to have an endless supply of knowledge directly put into your mind. It'll make Albert Einstein look like a joke at a picnic. Yeah, I mean, seriously, if you think about it, Nikola Tesla will be an illiterate 9-year-old kid from the country somewhere compared to someone who can literally pull information from the World Wide Web directly into their minds as if they've already had it. That sounds like that iron mixing with miry clay the Bible talks about in the book of Daniel. Literally, you got to think the forefathers of our faith, these old school prophets, they were shown visions. Maybe they didn't necessarily have the exact words to use for some of this modern equipment. Yeah, it didn't work so well for Solomon at all. Solomon got his game smoked by the end of his life. The Bible describes him as the wisest and richest king there ever was or ever will be. I mean, the wisdom of Solomon was world renowned, but he died consulting satyrs. You know the saddest thing about Solomon? Who said that, as a matter of fact? Sheila again. The saddest thing about Solomon to me is his biggest hangup is he sincerely loved his wives, plural. Like he just had love for his wives. He was like, you could just imagine him going to him, hey, Saul, baby, can I build my temple next to your temple? You know, it's just a little G God next to the Holy of Holies. That's all. Yeah, sure, baby. Go on ahead. Tell my builders to get started, and we'll have it done by the end of the month. So they're building little temples to Ashtaroth next to the Holy of Holies. And that's all because he loved his wives. I mean, there was nothing in him to say, wait a minute. No, we're not building a little G God temple next to, no. But what are you going to do? I think I've been Solomon. I think a lot of these gentlemen have too. Well, DW. Anyways, yeah, but I mean, I think the Bible lists the number of his concubines too. Like, when did this guy have time to get work done? He has dozens upon dozens of wives, hundreds of concubines. You know, I mean, he must have been on some good gas or something, staying up all night and day. But it takes you back to the New Testament when Paul said, much learning doth make one go mad. Because, I mean, Solomon, he wasn't a dunce. He was a smart dude. So, with all that intelligence, and I mean, I don't want to even get into the Gnostic part of it if you believe that. The Bible is the unequivocal truth of God. It's a historical text, and it shows man's fall away from God and God's direct intervention into bringing man back to himself to have a relationship like he initially had with Adam, the first man in the garden. So when we look at these other books, I've read the book of Jasher and the book of Enoch before. I've recently re-downloaded the PDFs to kind of refresh myself on them because you hear people talk about the Nephilim and all that stuff, but you never hear them really get into what the source material says, what it's actually saying about demons being the disembodied spirits. No, I've not heard a lot of people quote from those texts. So I really wanted to do a deep dive into that. That's going to be coming up sometime soon. And it'll be a live show. So you guys will be able to contribute what you know or ask questions, because there's the unequivocal truth of God. The Lord Jesus said, I am the truth, the life, and the way. So if you speak truth or speak of truth, you're speaking of him anyways, whether those words are found in the Bible or not, if that makes sense. So just because it's a deuterocanonical, that's the word I believe, or non-canonical book, doesn't mean that there's not truth there. Like the first book of Enoch, it reads as if Moses wrote it. It could fit right there after the Pentateuch, in my opinion. Big homie, you can jump in the back in if you want to. I have 5 more minutes for that premiere. So, hey, maybe I can pull him in tonight for the night show. That'd be fun. We had a great show on his. For the ones who haven't heard it, I guess everybody has. Everybody and their mama. But for the ones who haven't, we had a blast over on his channel last night. But y'all be careful when you look up Solomon, because it's eventually going to lead you to those lesser keys of Solomon. And more than likely that was done during medieval times and attributed to Solomon. But you'll hear a lot of these Kabbalistic historical Jews or Jewish historians say that a lot of that was from these lost scrolls and stuff. So who knows? And I believe a lot of the Lord of the Rings came from that as well. A lot of the Lord of the Rings came from stories and accounts from the Bible, like the ring wraiths that were the kings of men. That is in I want to say Isaiah, where it talks about it's another prediction or a revelation of the end times to the prophet Isaiah about how the risen kings will come back and fight against man during the end times. Now, when you look up that word that they use in the scripture in the KJV, take it back to the original Hebrew, transliterate it, that word means wraith. So it's one of those interesting little nuggets. Because it's all connected. It's like all the spider webs lead back to the epicenter, which is the biblical. I mean, it's the biblical knowledge. It's the Bible. Just found out recently that when probably the greatest prophet of all time, Elijah, was taunting the priests of Jezebel, he mentioned a name. That name it was in his native tongue something else, and that's what ended up in the Bible. But he was talking about her. They were priests of Hercules, and he's taunting them like, "Oh, what is your God on another one of his missions? Does he got to go put horses in stables?" So it just tells you, these old time prophets were savages, like talking smack to these priests of Hercules or Heracles because of the 9 labors. You know what I mean? That's a deep dive for you mythology nerds out there. But anyways, enjoy the show, and I'll talk to you tonight.